Carolyn Young, Chief Executive of Retail NZ, and welcome to today's episode. We will be discussing how to support employees with mental health issues. Grab a coffee or a water and take a break to listen to this webinar, which is part of our Empowering Retail series where we navigate workplace support, mental wellbeing, and evolving health and safety practices. I'm joined today by Greg Irvine, who's the Chief Executive with Workplace Support. Kia ora, Greg, and welcome.
Kia ora. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. Great to have you on board. Look, it's a challenging landscape that we all live and work in these days. There's always a lot more things to do in the day than time we've got to do it. And I know that from time to time that can cause stress for individuals. So retailers can certainly greatly benefit from robust support systems, including an employee assistance program that's offered by Workplace Support. It helps staff navigate tough times and can prioritise mental wellbeing and fostering a strong, supportive team environment. Businesses not only enhance employer resilience, but also boost overall productivity and morale. We know from our conversation that we had last time that, some of the signs that a retailer employee might be struggling with mental health can be a range of factors. They could be that you're seeing more mistakes being made. It could be that the individual's gone pretty quiet. They're not just themselves. They're not engaging with customers. Having really good communication with your staff is really important, and getting to know your staff is going to be critical in order to be able to navigate these really challenging wellbeing spaces. Tell me, Greg, when you think about a retailer who owns a small business or is a manager of a team, what do they need to do to foster an open and supportive environment where employees feel comfortable discussing their mental health?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the big one is, they need to sort of lead by example. They need to be able to normalise those conversations about mental health and well-being, demonstrate empathy, be able to be open about conversations where people are struggling, whether it's work related or personal related. But it's important that they treat it with dignity and respect, and also that it is treated with confidentiality, that whatever's said between those two stay between those two. Where, mental health is being treated the same as physical health. When we think, you break an arm, they think, oh, they look after you. The mental health is the same as physical health. We need to make sure that we care for that. So that can be also, providing training and resources. AAP like us, Workplace Support, we'll provide you with resources. The Mental Health Foundation's another great place to find free resources online. And also, talking about support managers who can encourage a good work-life balance. It's not all about work, that, hey, you do need to take time off. You do need to prioritise those things. Also, fostering a good team culture, how that employees can support each other, like a peer support model. They can look out for each other, that they know they can say that, hey, that person's not doing so well, where they can all foster that sort of team support. If there is staff feedback, that they do monitor and actually take notice of that. If staff saying, hey, this is happening or this could be improved, that actually the manager thinks about that. And if that is something that they should do, then they should implement that in their business.
So, one of the things I've really heard you talk about is the fact that it's really important to understand the whole person. So, we present ourselves in a certain way in the work environment, but actually what's happening at home in our home life impacts how we present ourselves in work. So, understanding how someone's doing at home is as important as how things are going at work. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. It's not like it used to be where we say, "Oh, just leave it at the door as you walk in." That's not what it's about. Unfortunately, people bring their stresses from home, whether that be relationships or grief or illness or whatever it may be, and that causes us to lose focus, productivity, that sort of stuff. So it's important that we see and hear that those things are going on, and we can try and help them and support them as best we can across all things. So yeah, it is important that we do that.
As a manager or a business owner, being able to be vulnerable and show your vulnerability and also have empathy with your staff, I guess, is just as important, because if you are seen to be aligned with other people's thinking, if you can show that you can be vulnerable too, it will give confidence to your staff that they can have those discussions with you when they really are struggling.
Yeah, definitely. That's true.
And so, if you've got some of your team members that are struggling, what sort of things can a retail manager do to adjust workloads or schedules to help employees manage stress and maintain their mental health? What are the sort of things that you'd
Yeah.
recommend?
Yeah, I mean, if it's possible, to try and be a bit flexible with scheduling, staff can swap shifts or have an input into their schedules, about when they can work and what they can do. It's hard to, but it's important that we don't try and overload them as we come into this busy season, not give them back-to-back shifts or give them a whole lot of shifts. But it's ensuring adequate breaks between shifts and also during the shifts that we give them time to, like we said, to recharge those batteries, to go for a walk, those kind of things. Having enough staff again, making sure that during the busy season there's enough staff on the floor to be able to do the work, not trying to overload them when they are at work, and then delegating tasks correctly, making sure that everyone on the team has a fair amount of tasks. You're not just overloading one person with all the responsibility and all the jobs, as it were.
And I guess if you're delegating responsibility to managing some staff, is that you make sure that the manager that you're delegating to is aware of all of the support services that are on offer, and that they too should show some empathy towards staff who are struggling with their wellbeing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's important that they do that, and it's a two-way street. It's important that there's a bit of give and take there because as managers and as business owners, they take a lot on as well. They've got the whole organization to look after, so it's important that they really create that team culture, that work together as a team, and that's the biggest thing. They look out for each other. They ensure that, hey, they're noticing any behaviours that are changing and saying, hey. It's brave to ask, are you all right? But that's the thing to ask, whether it be a manager or a staff member, to check in with them to make sure that everyone's looking out for each other.
Yeah. And I guess when you ask that question, be prepared for what the answer could be and actually take action no matter whether it's good or bad news. You
Yeah.
have to provide that wraparound support. It's one of those situations, often you say to someone, how are you doing today? And you just want to hear the general, yeah, good, thanks, good, thanks. But actually in these situations, you really want to stop and listen and take time to understand what the answer to those questions are. How are you doing today?
Yeah, and it's important that, especially, sorry, I'll pick on me as males, we want to find a solution. When someone, are you all right? And they say no or something, and they say whatever's up, we want to go, oh, you should do that. That's the wrong thing to do. It's not about giving them a solution. It's about listening to them and hearing them out, and then for them to find the solutions to their own problems. We're there to be a listening ear. We're not there to give them answers or give them solutions as to what they should do. So it's important that we are there as a listening and just to be there as a support person.
Fantastic advice. Look, if you want to find out more about workplace support, get in touch with our 0800 number, 0800 472 472, and anyone on that number can give you some advice and get you links through to workplace support to help you and your staff through any difficulties that you're having. Thank you so much for joining us today, Greg. It's been such a pleasure to speak with you and hear how workplace support is supporting the retail sector in New Zealand. Thank you to our Retail NZ partners whose support enables us to keep you up to date with everything retail. Ka kite anō. Bye for now.